Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm David Fisher, Vice President of Online Sales and Operations at Google, and it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, someone who I think needs no introduction, so I'll be brief, but Earvin Magic Johnson is with us. He's someone who's been a champion throughout his life, first in East Lansing, Michigan, where he guided his high school team to state championship and happens to be the same hometown as Larry Page. And then Michigan State University, where he went just in the same town, led them to a national championship, and then the Lakers, who led to 5 NBA championships. I see some colors that I think that I guess probably aren't a full coincidence. And also 3 NBA finals, 3 NBA MVPs. But after his basketball career, he's been a champion as well. He's been a champion as an entrepreneur and a champion of urban communities and urban populations. And most notably through his work starting businesses and advising other entrepreneurs, he's recognized what I think many of us have known or come to see through his leadership, which is there has been a vacuum in a lot of our urban communities, and particularly among diverse populations who are underserved by businesses. So he's brought businesses that we all know, like Starbucks, like TGIF. He started his movie theaters, which he's brought to serve this community, and both made a difference to those populations and also shown other businesses that there are real opportunities there, and has provided real leadership that way. His book, which came out last year, which I think many of you have gotten copies of or have heard of, 32 Ways to Be a Champion to Business, details his story and some of his advice as well. I would lastly say that just on a personal note, as someone who grew up in Boston, it's champion wasn't always the first word that came to mind. It was usually a word that I couldn't talk about and think about that baby hook shot, but even for those of us who are on the wrong side of a lot of those games as fans, we've all come to admire what Magic has meant to this country and to all of us. So it's my real pleasure to welcome Earvin Magic Johnson to Google.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to get with the culture here and relax. First of all, I want to say just thank you for what you were able to do and what you're able to do now, and for years and years and years for people around the world, but also what you were able to do for President Obama. I think that Larry, you guys really got his message out there early on for people, and especially for young people, and they really gravitated. So again, let's clap for Google for getting it out there. Appreciate that. I want to thank BGN for, making sure I was here and working closely with them, and the invitation, so we really appreciate the whole organization. Basically, I was trying to decide what I was going to do after wearing those little hot pants we used to wear with the Lakers, and how was I going to transition from being a brand on the basketball court to having an urban brand, and making sure that I invested in the same community that I grew up in, because most of urban America has been overlooked. Not only the communities, but the people who live in those same communities. Especially when you think about the spending power of African Americans, over 800 billion, Latinos, over 800 billion. But when you think about their needs and their wants, they were not being addressed by retailers, and retailers had overlooked the urban community. And so I wanted to somehow build up the urban community, because unfortunately in our community, the dollar only touches 3 hands. But if you think about suburban America, the dollar touches 20 hands. That's why suburban America can grow. And that's why urban America has been staying down. And so I wanted to go in and put people to work, train them to do their job, and then that brings a sense of pride, and now that dollar can touch many hands, and in return, our community can now grow. So when I did my research and starting a business, the most important thing you have to do, and a lot of you in here someday want to be like Larry and like Mr. Brent, is that you have to first stop being fearful. A lot of you will block your own success because you're fearful of what's going to happen. Because the comfort zone is here. Make a great living, my bills are paid, everything is great. Oh, I'm scared to change. So you block your own growth. So you have to now say to yourself, hey, once you get the tools, once you've done your homework, then you can start making a move to say, okay, hey, I can be a businesswoman, a businessman, and start my own thing. But you got to believe in yourself first. Larry believed in himself first. And then he had something that was going to be in demand. See? He knew that Google was going to be the key to making people's lives easier, faster, and better. At the tip of your fingertips, right there. See, he knew that. So the demand was there. He did his market research. And then he understood who his demographic would be. Just like me in my business, I know my demos. I know I had a niche because nobody was investing in urban America. So it gave me an opportunity to take advantage and really have competitors. Because you have to understand, if you start a business, who is going to be my competitors? Okay, so then after you get those steps taken care of, now I got to get a tight business plan. My business plan's got to be tight because if I'm going to get investors, they're going to have to believe in a strategy, and you have to show them how you're going to bring them return on their investment. And once you can show them that, it doesn't matter if it's colorful and got a lot of words to it. The main thing is, how are you going to bring them return on investment? That's the key. And if you can show them that, then they'll be willing to invest with you. And then, once you now start your business, you take it from a step further, is now I got to hire the right people. Look at all of you, the right people here at Google. Keep your overhead low when you first starting a business. Larry can tell you that right now. It was only him and his partner probably in the beginning. And then you just add and add and add. Staffing can kill your business because you overstaff. That means a lot of money is going out the door. So make sure that your overhead, you keep it low and tight. And so that's what I was able to do in the beginning. So my first venture really was Magic Johnson Theaters. And because when I did my homework, minorities were the number one group of people who were going to the movies because we were priced out of the Warrior games and the Dodger games and the Laker games. But we always would go to the movies. And so that was my first venture, and with Lowe's, and that went so well. I took a trip up to Seattle and knocked on Howard Schultz's door and asked him about if I could get some of the Starbucks into urban America. And Howard had a couple great meetings with me, and Howard, I give him credit. He was the first retailer to really put his stamp on investing in urban America and helped to bring every other retailer into urban America. So Howard said, okay, yeah, you know what, great plan. I don't do franchises, but let me come down and see your operations of your theater. He decided to come down on a Friday night when Waiting to Exhale Whitney Houston's movie was just coming out. So I had 5,000 African-American women lined up outside. So I tried to tell Howard, we go to the movies a little different than everybody else when we go. And so I didn't want to tip his hand too much, but we went inside and, the women was just saying hello to each other. And then we went inside the movie theater itself, and he got a chance to see what I was talking about, because those 500 women were talking to Whitney Houston on the screen. Girl, you should dump him. Why are you still with him? I would have dumped him a long time ago. So, true story. So Howard grabs me about 30 minutes in and pulled me in the lobby and said, I've never had a movie-going experience quite like this, So I think that's what got me the deal. So now I have over 100 Starbucks in urban America, and that's really wonderful. We're able to put a lot of people to work, as well as now in urban America, we have a meeting place. And the greatest thing is his per caps are $462 a person. My per caps are $468 a person. And we changed the Starbucks a little bit because, everybody said, no way minorities would pay $4 for a cup of coffee. No way. Yeah, we'll pay $4 for a cup of coffee. We just don't eat scones. We just don't know. We quite don't know what scones are. Is that a hard biscuit, a cookie? So I had to take the scones out and put in things minorities like, which is pound cake, Sakatumi cake, red velvet cake, things that we like. And then I had to take the elevator music out, because, Starbucks sometimes, they got some sad music sometimes playing in there. So I had to put some R&B in, because I want you drinking and your head bobbing and your toe tapping, because if I get you in there long enough, you're going to make a second what? Purchase. So what I created, just like Larry has created here, is a home away from home environment. Because when you're comfortable, you're going to lounge. When you're comfortable, you're going to stay longer. And then the thing that we have created, and if you're going to start your own business, this is going to be a key for you, is when people say, that's my store. That's my Starbucks there. That's my Google. When they say that, that means you got them. So it's been a very, very special partnership with Howard Schultz and Starbucks. It has really created a lot of jobs, and I'm talking about not just working in the stores, but also general managers, district manager, on and on and on. And so we brought a lot of minorities and given them great jobs in Starbucks. And it's really driven up our property value when you think about urban America as well. So I went from there, and I got into the fitness business and 24-hour fitness. Anybody know that? Yeah, because you don't have to go there. You got your own gym here. So, and so I have 14 Magic Johnson clubs. We average 11,000 per club membership, and 24-hour fitness average 8,500. Wait a minute, they didn't want to work out in urban America. No, we do. We just don't want that same elevator music. So I had to take out that music and put in the music that my customer wants. So what am I telling you? I know my what? And you know your customer. See, the most important thing in business is you have to know your customer. And then you have to speak to that customer. And then don't try to be everything to everybody. See, we do one thing, urban America, that's all I do. And that's very, very important. And so we have the #1 TGIF Fridays in the West restaurant right in Los Angeles. Only Fridays that serve Cristal, Dom Perignon, XO, because that's what my what? Customer wants. Gotta know your customer. And then the other great things that we've been able to do is have the #1 urban real estate fund. Right now, we start off with, this is really something I want all of you to really understand is even when you go back to your desk or your office, it's not enough for us just to deliver anymore. We got to over-deliver. If you want to keep all the billions of customers you have and hundreds of million customers you have to over-deliver to them. You know, like the G phone, it over-delivered. So you got to over-deliver. And so we've been able to do that with our fund. They turned me down a couple times, Cal Stirs, Cal Pers, and they wanted me to really come back and understand that if they gave me this money and the reason they're giving it to me, first they turned me down for the reasons of I didn't have the track record that they thought I should have. And then they said, if this business strategy is so great, why isn't somebody else doing it already? And I couldn't answer that. So they said, what we're going to do, we're going to give you $50 million. And we're going to, because I was there for $150 million, but they said, we'll give you 50. I said, I'm African American, I'll take that. $5 I would have took. But, and if you deliver upon your promise, you can come back and access the other 100. So I bought a shopping center for $22 million. It was only about 40 to 50% occupied at that time. We brought it up to 100% occupied. We sold that same shopping center for $48 million. So did I over-deliver? Yes, that's a lot of money they got and a lot of return on their investment. So I was able to go from there. It took to access the 100 million, but also raise my first real estate fund, which took us almost 3 years to raise $300 million. We returned our partners 30% on their money. They were very happy. So how long you think took me to raise $600 million after we returned them 30% on their money? Almost less than a year. We raised $600 million. We just returned them about 18 to 20% on their money. Very happy. And then before the market crashed, knock on wood, we just raised $1 billion in cash, and we're ready to go out and invest. But we're still holding on because we're getting a lot of investments that we can buy under market value. And so we're happy about we're able to have that type of cash on hand to buy different real estate projects. So it's called the Canyon Johnson Fund, and we're very excited about that. And then my other fund is called the Ukaipo Johnson Fund. We have about $550 million in cash ready to buy urban-based businesses or businesses that have over 50% minorities working. So I used to own 32 Burger Kings, but now I sold those Burger Kings because I bought the #1 meat company that supplies Whoppers to Burger King. So we were able to get into that business, and so I'm happy the way it's going. We're growing urban America. We're putting over 40,000 minorities to work, and that's a key because that's what you want to do is put people to work. But to balance that off, I also have a foundation. So we have almost 200 kids on scholarship, Asian American, African American, Latino Americans, and whatever college they want to go to. We also have technology centers where a lot of minorities can't afford to have a computer in their own home, so we give them access to that by putting technology labs in their housing development, in their Boys and Girls Club, wherever we can fit it, we put it so they can have easy access to it. And the greatest thing is their grades are up 75%. And so that's the beautiful thing. Yep. And then the other great thing is we do health fairs. So HIV and AIDS, we test for that. High blood pressure, you name it, we test for it because our foundation, we address all the health needs of minorities as well. So we have a lot of testing going on in our community. We usually partner with somebody to have those tests. And so it's been amazing. And then we had our award-winning I Stand With Magic campaign that I did with Abbott, where we've tested over 30,000 African Americans for HIV and AIDS. And that was very important. I've been able to go speak to 200 different high schools and colleges, been speaking at 200 churches to get the word out about HIV and AIDS in our community, because we make up over 50% of all the cases, African Americans and Latinos. So it's really important that I raise the awareness level when it comes to HIV and AIDS in our community. So I do a little bit of everything since those little shorts. And, and the great thing is, normally, and then we're going to get into some questions and have some fun. See, in the morning, I gave you a good caffeine rush, you know, with the Starbucks. Then in the afternoon, I fatten you up on those Burger King or Whoppers. And then I have you go work it off in the evening at my fitness club. So, you see? So what am I saying if you're going to start a business? You got to build a brand. Google, the #1 brand in the world. Did it start off that way? No. Now, it's the #1 brand in the world. So you can understand the power of a brand. So it's so important. The #1 workplace in the country, Fortune says again. So congratulations to you again. Building a brand. That's so important. And then if you're going to get into business, you always have to run a SWOT analysis on your company. You know, so that's very important as well. And when you run that SWOT analysis, it'll tell you, you know, what you're great at, your weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats, what you're successful at. That's what SWOT is. So look at you, you're successful. You do it better than anybody. Your revenues are up. The income level is up. All these things are up when you think about Google and what you're great at. Not too many weaknesses, great opportunity, and not too many threats. I mean, you just took out, what, MapQuest, you #1 now. Oh, yeah, you know, come on now, I know the Google Maps. Sure. #1, more unique visitors than anybody. See there? I do my homework. If you're going to be a businessman or a businesswoman, you got to do your homework. Remember that. You know, you want to be like Larry, you got to do it right. And I want to be like Larry, too. I don't want to be as short as he is, but I want to be like him. We drink the same water. See, we're from Lansing, Michigan. That's why we've been successful, see. But the thing I like about Larry, he hasn't changed. Don't let success change you, you know. And I think that's a key, too, in business. Don't let it change you. And the #1 thing that can take you down and your business down if you change your spending habits when you're successful, or you now have a new, different outlook on life. Because if you start spending more money just because your business is successful, that business has to supplement your new lifestyle. And you're just going to take from that business and take from that business. And now what's going to happen is you're bleeding the business dry. So don't do that. Reinvest that money back into your business. Make it sure it continues to grow. Okay, let's have some fun. You got a mic here. You can ask questions. Why we traded Shaq or anything. Go ahead. And you got the weapons on. I see that.
Those are for you.
Okay.
So first of all, thanks for being here, Magic.
My
Really,
pleasure.
It's great to see you. And thank you for the junior hook in '87.
Oh.
Sorry, David. So my question for you is you talked a lot throughout your career about the importance of a really good competitor. And Larry, I know the other Larry,
Right.
was key to your success and just sort of following him, measuring your game against his. And I guess my question for you is like, right now in business, how do you measure your success against your competitors? Are there competitors who sort of inspire you to be better?
Well, I think that when you look at us, and we're in a real unique situation because at the end of the day, we have the #1 urban brand in America. And so we only have competitors in certain segments of our business, but not overall. It's hard to do everything that we do. And it's just like it's hard for Google competitor to do everything that you do. But I'm not really concerned about our competitors as much as I'm concerned about us, the Magic Johnson brand. Because if we do everything we're supposed to do, we'll take care of our business, then we don't have to worry about them. Now, do we know them? Yes. Do we watch them? Yes. But only in certain segments because everybody's not in retail like we are. Everybody's not in funds like we are, the real estate fund and the equity fund that we have. Everybody don't have a foundation, so it's so many things that we do. It's hard for us to say we got one unique competitor. Well, but we have a competitor in a segment of our business. And so we gauge them, we watch them, but one thing that we always talk about is over-delivering. If we over-deliver to our clients and to the people who we represent, then we don't have to worry about it. We're going to be great, and we're going to always be #1. Because my whole thing, I'm so competitive that I just want to stay #1. Just like all of you, you want to stay #1. That's why you work here. It's a great brand, it's a great company. So you got to look at them, but you don't worry about them. Because if we take care of business, we're going to get retention, retention, retention. And that's what you got to strive for. Because people won't leave you. They will always be with you. Now, guess what you have, and guess what I have? This is for all of you to understand. You have brand ambassadors out there that really market Google. See, you got all these unique brand ambassadors, hundreds and millions of people who talk about Google all the time. We have hundreds of millions of people who talk about Magic brand. So that's one thing they don't have either. All the people talking about their brand. So instead of us putting a lot of money into advertising and marketing, we don't have to do that because we got all these great brand ambassadors already. We have the trendsetters and the tastemakers of communities because they all want to hang with us. Man, I'm hanging with Google. Shoot. I'm not going nowhere. Shoot, it's cool to be with Google. Same thing here. Man, the Magic brand, oh, we with them. Trust, loyalty. Can't beat that because you've over-delivered to them. And you got to stay doing that, just like I have to stay doing that. And then you don't worry about your competitors. If we do what we're supposed to do, they're going to always be back there because that's where I want to keep them.
Thanks.
Good question, too. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, Magic.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. He got all nervous. Oh. Magic? Well, I don't know. Okay, relax. Shh.
All right.
Okay, you okay now?
I'm good now. All right. When you first started talking, you talked about how you wanted to transition your sports brands into an urban brand, and I was hoping you could maybe speak a little bit more about that. You had mentioned a couple of the investments you had made in, Starbucks and Burger King and that kind of thing. But how did you identify those areas that you wanted to start, transitioning into, and then to talk about how, what your strategy was?
Mm-hmm. Well, the strategy was easy. When you think about urban America, there was no new money, no new investments in our community. So what I wanted to do was go into the community and bring just that. So I was addressing demand that was already there. See, when you start a business, you don't want to build a company or a business and then say, hope they come. That's going to be quick downfall. Where I said, oh man, there's a demand in urban America. There's spending power in urban America. So if I build it, they will already come. I didn't have to sell them on it. They were already driving. We were driving 30, 45 minutes outside our community to get a good cup of coffee from Starbucks. They were already going outside our community to work out. So the things that I brought to community, we were already doing those things. So that was my niche. So I just addressed the demand that was already there, and then making sure that I also used the community at the same time to do my own market research. I asked the people, what do they want? See, a lot of times you build it and then you don't talk to the customers. And so I talked to the customers first. Said, hey, what do you want to see come to the community? What will you support? How do you want to see it looking? Like my Fridays, I asked the Ladera community, what do you want the hours to be? What do you want the food to look like and the service and everything? So it was important that I asked the community first before I built that restaurant. And now it's very, very, very successful. So it's important that you ask the people sometime, what do they want to see happen? Because they're going to be your customers, and they're going to be coming in your doors. So it was demand sitting there. I understood that. And those same people who live in those communities, also business in our community is about common sense. You know, I'll give you a quick story. We opened the movie theaters in my first business now in Los Angeles. So the food buyer for Lowe's, I said, how many hot dogs do you have? Because we're opening on this Friday coming. Oh, he looked at me, you got enough for a month. You know, we know what we're doing. Okay. So we opened the movie theater on that Friday. Now, he gave me enough hot dogs for a month in terms of suburban movie theater. We sold out all the hot dogs that Friday night. So I had to go to a store and get all these hot dogs and buns and things. But what he didn't know is minorities are not going to go to the movie and to dinner. We're going to have dinner right in the movies. See? So he had to understand that. So on Monday, I got a call to say, I'm sorry. I guess you do know your customer. So see, it's just common sense. Larry and Mr. Brin knew it was common sense to build Google. They knew it. And it was common sense to hire all these intelligent people who are smarter than smart and could do their job better than anybody else. It's common sense to have all the initiatives that you have here. The gays and lesbians, the blacks or African Americans, on and on and on. Latinos, on Asian, on and on and on. The diversity is here, and it's beautiful to see. You look like America. See? So that's what it's all about, common sense.
Hey, Magic. I have a basketball question,
Okay.
and I have a business question.
Okay.
As an expert, how close is Kobe to MJ status?
Okay.
And
Okay.
if you were to start your franchise, who would you, of the players today, who would you choose? That's the basketball
That's the
question.
basketball question. Okay.
All right.
Well, let's start there first.
Okay.
Okay. Who I choose, I'm definitely going to choose Kobe. The only one of those guys that won championships already. And he's the greatest, he's the best closer in basketball right now today. I think that LeBron and Dwayne Wade is close to him as far as closer, but Kobe Bryant can beat you so many different ways. It's just amazing. And then you had, what was that first one?
Kobe to MJ status.
Oh, he's close. You know, but he's not MJ yet. He don't have the tongue. You know, Michael get that tongue out there. It's over. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something. This is, and I'm glad you brought that up. You see, I'm having fun, right? When you think about Michael and you think about Larry Bird, you got to remember this about them. They always made their teammates better. See? And they could beat you so many different ways. They could have an off shooting night, but they have 20 rebounds, 15 assists, 3, 5, 6 steals, or come up with the key block, the key charge, getting their hands on a loose ball, or like Larry made the big steal against Detroit. It's all those things that they bring to the table that you can't coach, you can't even think about, that they have this type of talent. But you always are scared when you play against them because you know their will to win is high and that they can make the play to beat you. And that's what makes them beautiful to watch. And then the last thing is these young guys we have today, they got to get to that level. They got to get to a level that you're going to run home or you're going to run to the nearest TV or you're going to put it on your computer, whatever, and you're going to go and at 6, 7, 7:30, you're going to be there to watch that game. See, right now, you may not do that right now because we don't have the rivalries like we had before. See, to his point, David's point, that Boston and L.A., everybody was running home or to the nearest sports bar or wherever. I got to see that game. And so that's what we have to get back to. And we're starting to get there. And I'm happy that the NBA is making the rivalries big now, not just the individual players. And so what's your business question?
Here's a business question. So you talked a little bit about going from your tight purple, yellow shorts to the business realm. And I wanted to know how important were role models or mentors in helping you get to that level, and who were they for you?
Mm-hmm. Very important, because what happens is you're going to have a lot of questions. And I was able to, Dr. Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers, there were a lot of successful business women and men who I talked to, and they became mentors to me. It was 2 guys from Lansing, Michigan that I grew up idolizing, Joe Ferguson and Greg Eaton, who taught me that African Americans could own buildings and car dealerships and things like that. So role models are important, mentors are important, and then ask them questions. And don't be afraid. I called everybody. I want to take you to lunch. What do you think about this? And so they would give you an honest answer. How did you build your business? How did you build your brand? Because it's important. So you're sitting here in Google, one of the greatest, well, the greatest brand in the world. So, hey, you take from Google in terms of how they were successful, how they built this incredible company. And so you learn from others who are successful, and then you, as I do, I steal from them. And that's basically how it comes down, because if they have practices or strategies or business strategy that is great, you just take it and incorporate it into your own. But yes, it's important to have others who could be your mentor that you can bounce things off of, that can also bring a comfortability to you saying, I got to make this transition from Google to becoming an entrepreneur. And that's very important, because you have to be comfortable to make a move, to be on your own and now starting your own business. Good question. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, young lady is up.
Hi, Magic.
Hi,
Magic Johnson. First of all, I'd like to say that when you're forming your dream team, let's not forget about Kevin Garnett.
Oh.
Even though he plays for the wrong side right now, we'll just...
Kevin wouldn't make my dream team.
Kevin Garnett...
No, I'm talking about mine, for my era and all the guys. He wouldn't make mine. But if it's this era, yeah, he would. No, I like him. Versatile, everything, but you know. Well, you asked me, I'll tell you. Oh, the guys, My four, it would be easy. Probably Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. That's easy. Just take them two. Probably Dr. J. And then I'll take, man, Kareem and Bill Russell. It's over. It's over. Just give us the championship right now. But I love Kevin Garnett. I think if I'm talking about a team right now, definitely he would be there. Him and Garnett and Tim Duncan. You got some great players. So no question. Go ahead.
So my actual question to you is...
And he's the most versatile player in the league today.
I'm with you. So my question is, what kind of residual or maybe like a ripple effect you've seen in the communities that you've invested in, whether other businesses are quick to follow you there and get more jobs and have a really long-term effect?
Great question. I didn't have a consultant business before. So Best Buy called me and said, look, we're going to build 100 stores in Earvin, America. We're a company that's in Minnesota, not too much urban going on there. And so we have to, we want to understand the whole urban customer and consumer, and so would you consult us? And we were like, I don't have a consulting business, but Best Buy said, now you do. So we have been consulting them and working with them, and not only the company, but also their employees who are working in these urban stores. And it's been great partnership and great working with them. And and then we also consult a company, Aetna, doing the same thing. And so we've seen now, look at what's happening now. Best Buy is building stores in urban America, the #1 electronic company in the world. And so we see the change. You could get a brownstone in Harlem for about $100,000. Now Harlem is booming now. Now you can't get one for less than $1 million because everybody has moved to Harlem and retailers. Now you got restaurants. And so we've seen it happen. South Central Los Angeles, we've seen it happen. I can just take you on and on and on. So it brings jobs. It brings more retailers into our community, and that means more opportunities for people who live there, and also a more desirable place for people to live. And so that's very, very important what you just asked. So we've seen it change everywhere. And then the mindset changes, you see, the people who live there. And so it's been beautiful. So we are in 22 states and almost 90 cities. So we have invested all over the country, and it's been going wonderful. So I'm gonna tell Kevin Garnett, he got a real fan back here at Google. Are they gonna do it again?
No. It could happen. It could happen.
No, I'm asking you. What do you think?
My support is fully behind Kevin Garnett and the Celtics. So
You didn't even say the
I see why not.
Celtics. You just said Kevin Garnett.
Well, in fact, you mentioned Minnesota.
So you don't
I'm
watch
from
when Kevin is
Minnesota.
hurt right now. You're not watching the Celtics?
Well, I watch when I can, but I don't have cable. I can't get the games.
Wait a minute, you work at Google. But good luck. But I think it's going to come down. No, I think it's going to come down to the Lakers and Celtics again. I really do.
It'd be a good game.
Yeah, we're
Good
winning
series.
this time, though.
I'll cross my fingers that you don't. I'm sorry.
Well, you know I'm still part owner of the Lakers, so
I know.
we got to do it. So. And you're wearing purple today, or close to it anyway. Come here, give me a hug. All right, thank you. Okay. Now, you know your wife run the association, so I know you got to have a good question.
Well, yes, my wife does run the association. I'm involved there as well. So
Okay.
first of all, thank you for representing Michigan State alumni so well. I'm one of the few people in the room
Go
qualified
green,
to
go
do that.
white. Go green, go white. Yes.
So I actually have a two-part question as well, learning from Dale.
Okay.
Part number one, remember in the 1979 championship year, most people don't remember that was a hard year. especially in the beginning, especially beginning Big Ten season. What lessons have you taken from that struggle and that triumph that you've taken into your business?
Yeah, I think that you have to, in business, different than sports, you have to be very patient. Because you can work for 6 months or 2 months on a deal, and you think everything is lined up, and now it's coming down to you guys just signing the papers. And that person or that company can change their mind, or the economy can go bad. I mean, it's things that you can't predict in business. Where when I was coming down that middle with that ball, I knew I could help predict the outcome of that game. You know? So in business, you can do everything right. And, or you can be in line with each other, same mission statement, on and on and on, and you may never get a deal, or, you know, some things you expect won't happen, a deal, you say, well, that's not gonna happen, and then it can turn and it can happen. So you have to have a lot of patience, more patience in business than in basketball. So what I learned in Michigan State is that, you know, those teams who you think that you're supposed to beat, if you don't play to your basketball capabilities and to your level of greatness, that you can get beat by anybody. And no matter what the record is, it doesn't matter. You still have to play to your potential. You still have to play Laker basketball, as we were calling it, Showtime basketball when I played. And so if not, you can lose to any team. And I won't talk about Golden State. Go ahead.
Right. So the other part of my question, more related to business, is you talked a lot about teamwork, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your support team and who has helped you through the hard times, who has helped you as you've been able to take the chances and go out on a limb with your business ideas.
Yeah. Well,
I met a few of the folks today, and they're
yeah.
outstanding. I wanted to give you a chance.
Yeah, I want to
talk
introduce
that
some
as well.
of them now, right now as we speak. My son is right there. If you look, he looks just like me, Mr. Andre Johnson. Mr. Chris Morrow is in the back there. A young lady who's running our new media space, Ayanna McKinley, is right there. I stole this executive from Wells Fargo, and now he's my new president. He's been doing an incredible job and run our funds and everything, Mr. Eric Holloman. And then I want you to really clap for this person, because she's only been working 2 days, and I don't know where she is. They're looking for her now. She just came over. She left Disney and joined me. She's only worked 2 days. This is her second day on the job, and we're at Google, right? And also, you know, we're going to go to New York and do some business there tomorrow, open a brand new business tomorrow. Miss Christine Simmons. Yeah, thank you. So, and then we left the other ones at home. But I think teamwork is important, and those who you hire are important. They have to believe in your brand, in the mission. Everybody has to be unselfish and really get behind the strategy that David and the team puts in place, while you still all being your own individual self. You also have to believe in what really Google stands for, and that's why you work here. Because remember this: the check won't wake you up in the morning and have you come here and stay till 9, 10, 12, 1, 2 in the morning. The passion for the company and what you provide for the consumers and the customers that you have, that's what wakes you up. This unbelievable culture that you have here, that's what gets you up in the morning. That's what keeps you here. The check is just secondary. Because if you're here just for the check, you're not going to be here long. See, it's this family atmosphere that you have. And that's what I have at my company, the same thing. They believe in the brand. They believe in the strategy. They believe in the mission and how we give back to those communities that are less fortunate, how we try to help them. And so that's what we're all about. And that's what Google is all about. So you have to have people who I only hire people like myself. I'm a worker. I am passionate about this brand. I work out every morning, and then I'm in the office all day. And I work on Saturdays. My wife said, "You don't have any balance." I said, "What is that?" You know. But what I did was I started having a date night with her every Friday night. So I take her to the movie or we go to dinner every Friday. Then I try to do something with my kids or support them on Saturday. I'm in church on Sunday, and then I'm working right after church. You know, I'm like, and then I'm back at it on Monday. You know, and so you really have to believe in the company that you work for and that you work with, and the mission and what you're building. Because, like I said, if it's about the money, you're not going to be happy. Sir.
Thank you for coming, and very inspirational.
Thank you.
Appreciate hearing it. It seems to me many successful people have had adversity or failure, and wondering if you can share a story of failure, adversity, a setback, and what you learned from it.
Well, I think that for me, and if it's in business, it was really having this great business strategy and business plan, and 10 banks turning me down. They wanted to meet with me and take the pictures, get the autograph. But they said no. And they didn't want to invest in urban America. They didn't believe in urban America. They had never set a foot in urban America. So that was the setback as far as business, not understanding why they didn't want to do that. But in life, I think, you know, getting called home from Utah and finding out you have HIV, that was the most devastating thing I've ever gone through. And then worrying about my wife who was pregnant with our son, EJ. I thought the hardest thing in my life I would ever do was play against Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. But the hardest thing I ever had to do was drive home and tell my wife I had HIV. And when you think about, when you make mistakes in your life, you not only hurt yourself, but the people who love you, see? Because they hurt with you. And so that's probably was the hardest thing. And then waiting for that week of tests to find out if the baby was okay and if my wife was okay. And then the most difficult thing was to find, after they were okay, God blessed me with that, then finding somebody who was living with the disease at that time to help me up here. And so Elizabeth Glazier was dying of AIDS at that time. And she told me I was going to be here for a long time, and that there was so much great medicine coming down the pipeline. Only thing she wanted was me to become the face of the disease. And that's when I decided to go public, sitting there watching this beautiful rose of a woman, strong, knowing that she was dying, to become the face of HIV and AIDS was just nothing compared to, you know, watching her and watch her handle her situation. So for now, almost 18 years now, I've been the face of the disease. I've been going to Congress, trying to get more money for the ADAP program, trying to stop discrimination against people who have HIV and AIDS, and really just do my part, you know, because this woman helped save my life and also helped my wife, who was having a problem at that time, for me to go out and tell the public that I had HIV. My cookie was going back and forth. She wanted, then she didn't want it, because she didn't know what that meant for myself. But when Elizabeth talked to her, then she came on board. And because we wanted to save other people's lives, that's what it was all about. So when you think about something that was difficult, but I turned it into something positive, something negative, something positive. Because look at me, I'm just here. You know, I take my meds, I do what I'm supposed to do. another challenge in my life. I never blamed anybody but myself. And man, I still love life, and I'm gonna be smiling to the end, you know. And no, it's sometimes it's how you really deal with it. See, all of us gonna have to deal with something that's tough, whether it's a disease or ailment, or not just for you, it might be your family member. So it's how you deal with it is important. And so I always meet things head on, you know. And so that's the only thing I know, is just to meet things head on and take them and deal with them and keep rolling. Okay.
Thank you, Magic.
Wait, we gotta let him.
No,
He gotta come on. Remember, I'm running this now. Wait a minute now. We gotta give her. This is my partner in crime right here. Everybody give her a hand, because she's been so wonderful. I know she loved the Lakers because she dressed up in our colors today. No, we didn't want him not to ask his question. I know we got 2 minutes. I know everybody not ready to run back to their office right now. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if I can follow that last answer, but I was very interested while you were talking. You mentioned a couple of things that we really think about a lot here. One is focusing on the customers and what they need today, and the other is thinking about building the future. So thinking about investing in these communities and how do you build what's going to be tomorrow. And I was wondering how you think about balancing those two, being that, you know, as you were talking, you also mentioned that sometimes there's some opposition, right? Like, so, you know, Burger King's not necessarily the best food for you to be eating every day. So wondered if that entered into your thoughts and how you think about it.
No, I do think about it. I think that, you know, we have to understand that we want to bring, and we have brought in, healthier choices in our community. But at the same time, the people there have to have choices. And because, as we all know, everybody's not going to eat healthy all the time. Or maybe they can't afford to do that. So you have to give them options, just like downstairs, your food, incredible court. You have everything, all the choices. So you've given all the great workers here choices. We want the same choices, see? So we may have organic over here. We may have Italian over here, or Mexican here. And I'm talking about choices of foods.
Right.
So that then they can say, this is what I want. Or this is what my family can afford.
Right.
So I think that that's what we only want to do, is bring choices and options to urban America and let the people make their choices. And so we're happy that we're able to do that. Now, do I want minorities to eat healthier or not drink as many sodas and things of that? Of course. So I do a lot of that outreach program because I'm about that myself. But at the same time, understanding that everybody is not like me or you or whoever, that we have to give them choices and let them decide.
Thanks.
And when you talk about the future, what's great about my company, and I think great about you have to sometimes partner with others.
Right.
You know, to build that. You got the #1 world brand. I got the #1 urban brand. Google and Magic should be working together on something. No, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So, because if you're going to build something, a lot of times you can't go by yourself. You have to go with people. And so, just like I know that Magic can't go it alone. So that's why we partner with companies. So we have the same mission, we're in line with each other, and we can go there together. So great question. And also stay true to the people. You know, a lot of companies in these tough times, you know, they've gotten away from who they are. or before these tough times, they got away from who they are. And that's really hurt them. And that's why their doors are closing. And what we do, we stay true. We don't try to bring things that's going to hurt the community, or we don't try to do things or get with partners just to make some money.
Right.
I don't put my name on something just to put my name on it. So I stay true to the urban consumer and the urban customer, and they know that. And so that's what it's all about as well, okay? Good question, my man. Bam.
Thank you.
Bam, see, last one. Okay. Do me a favor. Sandy, come on up. I want all the BGNs to stand up, and we got to give them a round of applause for making sure that I was here. Yep, appreciate it. Continue to do what you do. You touch so many people. And, you know, it's funny. Guess how many people around the world would love to be in your seat right now? Isn't that crazy? Guess how many companies want to be the #1 brand in the world? You got a lot of people chasing you guys. That's got to make you feel good. Because we feel good. Because we got a lot of them chasing us. So remember where you are and the opportunity that's inside this company and inside this brand, and take advantage of that. And wear that with a badge of honor. That's what we do at Magic Johnson Enterprises, and we'll continue. So I look forward to working with your foundation, with the company in some kind of way, if we can do something together. And let's go touch America in a positive way. And God bless you all. Thank you.